Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Shri Amit Chandra, CEO, Center for Civil Society. Mr. Panda, a senior BJP leader and member of parliament, has just left. And other members from the Center for Civil Society participating in this 12th School Choice National Conference. Other distinguished guests, respected leaders, policy thinkers, civil society representatives, and most importantly, the young scholars and practitioners of tomorrow. Good morning to all of you. It gives me immense pride and a deep sense of responsibility to address you all at this 12th School Choice National Conference organized by the Center for Civil Society. For many decades, CCS has been one of the few platforms in India that dares to ask big, uncomfortable questions about education, governance, choice and accountability. Questions that determine whether our children merely go to school or truly learn and thrive. I want to begin with congratulating CCS for keeping this flame alive, for consistently reminding us that if we do not reform the architecture of governance, then the best ideas of pedagogy, curriculum or technology will remain islands of excellence, not a sea change. Friends, Bharat today stand at the cusp of a historical transformation. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has called this phase as Amrit Kal. The 25 years journey towards Vikasit Bharat 2047, when we complete 100 years of independence. The children sitting in our school today, in Delhi's government school, in affordable private schools, in elite institutions, in alternative learning spaces, they are the citizens, workers, job seekers, job providers, and the leaders of 2047. What we do in education governance in the next 5 to 10 years will decide what they become in this Amrit Kal. The Prime Minister often reminds us that India's strength lies in the 3 Ds: democracy, demography, and demand. Education is what that converts these 3 Ds into the most powerful 4th D, that is development. If we want Vikasit Bharat, we must build Vikasit Delhi, a capital city that becomes a model of modern, inclusive, and high-quality school education. Every child, not just privileged, has access to excellent learning, where parents have meaningful choices, not just a lottery of birth and address, where public money is spent not only on construction of few classrooms or few buildings, but on clear learning outcomes, the larger part is spent, and where governance is transparent, predictable, and above all, child-centric. For many years, national conversation focused on enrollment and infrastructure numbers, including how many schools, how many classrooms, and how many midday meals. That phase was necessary and in many respects successful. But we have now entered into a new era. Parents are now asking, is there a school? They are asking. Yes, they are asking, is my child actually learning? Is he or she safe, respected, and prepared for the future? This is where governance becomes central. Governance is not a dry wood. It means Who takes which decision? Who is responsible for what? How do we support teachers? How do we hold schools accountable not to files and forms, but to children and parents, to the society? How do we ensure that public spending translates into public values? Weak or fragmented governance means this budget increases, schemes multiply, announcements get longer, but learning does not improve at the same time. On the other hand, when governance is strong, when roles are clear, data is transparent, accountability is real, then even the same rupee begins to deliver much better outcomes. Recent past, maybe 10, 12 years in Delhi are the real example of which clarifies my point that increase in budget and making few rooms and few buildings does not change the scenario. We have seen states who have transformed education, who have silently reformed their classrooms, who have silently reformed their learning outcomes, who have silently provided tech-enabled education to their students without much tom-tomming like recent past in Delhi and neighboring states. We have an example of Gujarat. In the last 1 year, more than 1,56,000 classrooms have been provided with smart classrooms. Whereas much tom-tomming of providing quality education and providing big budgets and building a few classrooms in Delhi. In the last 10 years, Delhi has only 700 smart boards in the national capital. So just making announcements and providing budgets does not transform the things. Our efforts in Delhi is guided by Prime Minister's Narendra Modi's idea of minimum government, maximum governance. And his formula that good governance needs the art. Art means accountability, responsibility, and transparency. In this journey, we are aiming to reimagine and revamp VSK, the Vidya Samiksha Kendra in Delhi. Today, I want to share how we see Vikasit Delhi education agenda, fully aligned with NEP 2020, across 3 big themes: how teaching and learnings are evolving, how institutions are regulated and structured, how resources can follow students, not just institutions. And then I touch upon the digital backbone that can make all this possible. Our first theme goes to the heart of the classroom. What happens between child and a teacher? For too long, our system rewarded rote memorization. As the Prime Minister has said, earlier our education policy told children what to think. Now the focus is how to think. In Delhi, our vision is that every child who passes out of the school should have a strong foundational literacy and numeracy. The 21st century skills NEP speaks about critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, curiosity, and communication, and a deep grounding in Indian values and constitutional ideas. This is not just fancy words. It means more project-based and competency-based learning in classrooms, less fear of asking questions, children learning to connect knowledge with real life, from environment and health to law, entrepreneurship, and technology. But this cannot happen without empowering our teachers. PM Modi has consistently said that the trinity of talent, temperament, and technology will transform India's future. Our teachers are the custodians of the talent and temperament. They are not just employees of the system, they are nation builders. As a stakeholder in the policy space, the question arises how we structure and regulate institutions. Today, in many states, and sometimes in Delhi too, a single department makes policy, runs school, recognizes school, and even inspects them. When the same authority is policy maker, operator, and regulator, accountability gets blurred. Innovation is discouraged. Good schools are slowed down by over compliances. Weaker schools do not get timely support. NEP 2020 proposes a major structural reform, a separation of functions to ensure no multiplicity of governance, no duplicity of work. Policy making as one function, regulation as another, service delivery, that is running of schools, as a third. Delhi's Viksit Education vision embraces this principle. We see a clear role for a state school standard authority and planning to set up for Delhi very soon as an independent child-centric standard body that focuses on learning outcomes, safety and inclusion, transparency of information for parents. These guidelines in our vision just must rely on simple essential norms, focus on what really matters for children, and fair predictable application of rules to all schools, governments, private and aided. We must move away from an inspection culture obsessed only with land size. Toilet counts, and files. I am not saying that it is not required. Very soon, you will be seeing that what kind of infrastructure Delhi students are studying in reality, they are suffering, not studying. But along with the inspection culture, we should move towards a governance culture that asks, is the child learning? Is the child learning? Is the child safe? Are parents informed? Is the school honest about performance? In parallel, the role of department must gradually shift from controller to an enabler, from micromanaging every transaction to building capacity, using data smartly and enabling innovation. This is new age governance, where the system trusts schools and teachers but does not abandon accountability, where public and private schools both operate in an environment of freedom with responsibility. Sometimes a question arises how we finance education. Traditionally, we have followed input-based funding models. We allocate budget based on how many building exists, historical staff norms, and sometimes political negotiations. The money goes to the institution by habit, not away by need or performance. Parents and children are passive recipients of this process. The idea behind fund students, not school, is to flip this model. Imagine a system where support is linked to the child, not just to the school building. Public funds are designed to reach students using India's powerful digital public infrastructure, the JAM Trinity and DBT. Parents, especially from low-income communities, have real choices and clear informations, so that accountability runs not just upward to officials, but outward to families. We have already seen encouraging evidences from the pilots in India and abroad, including voucher experiments and DBT-like models, that portable entitlement scan empower families, increase competition on quality, improve completion and learning outcomes. Let me be very clear, this is not about weakening government schools. On the contrary, it is about strengthening government schools with better data, focused support and fair comparison. Reforming reimbursement-based schemes so that they are timely, transparent and targeted. And ensuring that every rupee is traceable to real children, real classroom and real learning. In Antyodaya, service to the last person is our moral compass. Then student-centered financing is one of the most powerful tools to live up to that idea. None of this can work at the scale without a strong digital backbone. Under Digital India, our country has built platforms that are envy to the world, from UPI to Aadhaar, from Diksha to PM E-Vidya, from Swayam to Onus, One Nation, One Subscription. These are not abstract acronyms. They are instruments of Atmanirbhar Bharat. From Delhi school system, as I said, we are planning to revamp our VSK to strengthen digital infrastructure that allows us to track real-time data on enrollment, attendance and increasingly about the learning. Plan school locations, teacher deployment, resource allocations more intelligently. Give teachers and students access to high quality digital content in many Indian languages. Support blended learning so that classrooms can extend beyond four walls. Design inclusive tools for children with special needs. Audiobooks, sign language contents, accessible interfaces. The Prime Minister often reminds us all that India once gifted the world the zero and the decimal system. And today Indians are at the forefront of information technology and finance, both powered by zero. In the same spirit, our goal is make AI in India and make AI work for India. And education is central in this mission. At the same time, let me emphasize, technology is the tool. And in Delhi, this is our conviction. Technology is the tool, not a replacement of the teachers. The heart of education will always be the human relationship between a child and a caring, competent adult teacher. We aim to use technology to enhance the role of teachers and schools, not bypass them. In Delhi, we are intending to finish a gap between the government schools and the private schools. All 38 lakh students studying in both the schools, they are our children. And we intend to build our government schools to the level. There may be many in this room who must have studied in the government schools. But your children are not studying in the government schools. We intend to make Delhi government schools to the level that you are compelled to send your grandchildren to the government schools. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me here.